Hey, we're gonna do a quick video before the big video comes out. I want to do a video on my UJ2 jig and UJ3. These are routering jigs. These basically will clamp onto the cabinet. You can router them out instead of using a Jasper jig and getting that wrong, and then you got holes that are not lining up or things that won't fit in them. Today we're going to be mounting a DX20 Peerless DX20 tweeter into this cabinet, and then we'll come along, we'll do the woofer in the back and the port and stuff. But today we're just going to do the tweeter. We're going to show you that quickly, how to flush mount that. But here are some of the things that can be flush mounted. We got tweeter, any 104 plate tweeter. This is a 104 terminal cup. There's that one, that's a 104, so that fits in there nice. And this jig also does the arrow port, which we have over there. That's the outside ring. And then this ring would be the ring you would put in there. You'd route it all the way through, and then that would, so you can mount that in there. And that fits nice and snug. Okay, then we also have this port that will fit in there. Okay, we also have all these other jigs. This is a square terminal cup that we sell here at Julefidelity. This is another mid-range. This is a square style mid-range with the rounded edges. That way you don't, some of that stuff is really hard to flush mount. And this is a PC83, which is a little Dayton driver, a little full range one. It's got a copper cap, pretty good sounding little speaker. That's got a weird frame to it, so we made a cutout for that, and that fits really great. So let's get to it. We're gonna get to this jig here. So I took and made a center mark. I made the center mark of where I want my tweeter to be, and then I made 2 edge marks, so I can see that in my deal here. Then I also took just a awl or a punch or whatever, and I put it right on the center of that, and I tapped it so my hole saw will fit in there. We did not make a mount for this tweeter as basically a mount hole like we did for all these other ones, because it's kind of small. So we can just use a hole saw or a Foster's bit or anything that you have around that fits those. Them are pretty easy deals here. We're gonna put that back down there. We're gonna use my shop one. And then we're gonna hole saw it. I'll show you that, and then we'll file it, because it's got little, for our terminals, we're gonna file those in. You can use whatever you want, but we have to file those. I'm gonna file them. And then we'll get that set. We'll set it in there. We'll set this jig on top of it, pull the tweeter out, and it'll be right in the right spot that we want. And then we'll router it. All right, we got battery. I usually use a 1/2-inch drill that's corded, but it'll work for this project. And we want to put that tip right where we indented our cabinet. I think I might need a new bit, but okay. There. That's the hole. Use a file, and then we're just gonna, since we see that these terminal tabs are directly across from each other, we're just gonna go right on those lines that we drew. There, okay. So that hole's there. Now, we're gonna do this. We got our jig in there. And on the back, I always make an X, and the front I just leave plain. So we're gonna wanna put it this way, not this way, because that will bend our jig. That way we get a good clamp here. And then we just kind of put it in there. We're looking around. Should work good. And you can stick one there, just like you're setting a coil on a speaker, right? Okay. And then I have this one down here. And then we want to put these clamps up this way. Really set this in there. Okay. Dropping a couple other clamps. Lightly. Don't want to bend our jig. There. Clamp those down. Yeah. Those seem good. You can pull this back out. Handy. Tight hole. And put that back in. That's right where we had it. Okay. Careful. All right, so that's what we have. Yep, now we're gonna router that. And I usually just start out finding a spot in there, make sure that bearing, we are gonna ring on that there. Otherwise, you'll cut into all this. Make sure that bearing is exposed. Use this. And this is MDF, so grab a vacuum right here. So I'll take this tweeter. Looks like I could go a little bit more, so. Check it one more time before we pull that off. Looks pretty good. So we can pull that out, and that way we can see what we got. Okay. Then we can check it just like that, see what we got. Looks pretty good. This is my old junk tweeter here, so that in there. Yeah, once we do a little sanding and stuff, should be good. There. Pull the jig off, and there's our tweeter. It's flush mounted. There. Yep, we'll do a little sanding around the edges, get the furries off, and then we'll come down here and we'll do our 5. We'll probably use a different jig, but that way it's nice and flush, ain't sticking up, we didn't screw up, it's in the hole where we want it. And that's the UJ2 jig.